What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, a quick disclaimer. This video, I am going to do my Adrien Broner versus Shawn Porter prediction. I already did the Ego first look, the Boxing Ego first look. I did that a little while ago, so check that out. It's like the tail of the tape, gives you some facts and statistics. Now, this video was coming, but for you impatient fucks who keep hitting me up and saying, "Oh, Ego, where's your prediction? You're slipping." I'm not slipping. I'm never slipping. This is easy work, but you got to keep in mind, this is what I do. This is my job. I'm a grinder. You know what I mean? So I got to hustle. I was out in Oakland today. I was at the Ward Smith weigh-in, traffic, and now I'm back. So just chill out, wait, everything. Some people were saying, "Oh, you're scared, Ego. You're scared to give a prediction." I'm the king of predictions. There's nobody on YouTube fucking with me on predictions that makes videos on a consistent basis. Why would I be scared? There's nothing to be scared. Furthermore, some of you guys take this too serious. Yeah, I like being right because it just furthers that I know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, you know what I mean? No one's 100% right with the prediction. So again, some of you guys have this misconception. Yeah, I talk about my prediction streak, but I've been wrong before. But check this. At the end of the day, I've been right a lot more times in difficult fights than I have been wrong. You know what I'm saying? In just fights in general. So without further ado, I want to give my Broner and Porter thoughts. Shout out to Dante's Boxing Nation. Like I said, I've been on the go, just hustling, doing. I try to give you guys a little bit of everything on my channel. And through Dante's Boxing Nation, he was with the Broner camp and the Porter camp. He was at the press conference and the weigh-ins and stuff. So I've been able to check his channel and get the latest and see what was happening. And this is a hard fight for me to predict, to be honest, just because there's a lot of different variables. And I told you that from the onset with this particular fight. There's a lot of different ways, and I can make a very solid argument about both guys winning, period. You know what I mean? I can make a strong, and it's to the point where you can't even dispute what I'm going to say. So it's a pick'em fight for real. Like, there's tons of fights like that, and then someone's going to have to pull away. Amir Khan versus Devin Alexander on paper, another pick'em fight style fight. This one having a catch weight, and there's just a lot of different variables you have to consider. Both fighters have one loss, and I really, for my prediction, I'm picking Broner. I think he's the one that they want to win. I'm picking Broner via some type of decision. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a controversial decision, you know what I mean, like a majority decision, split decision, but maybe a unanimous decision. I'm not sure, but some people are saying Broner's going to get knocked out. I don't know. My pick is Broner via some type of decision. That's what I'm rocking with. I think it goes the distance, and I'm picking Broner. Now, this is a scary pick because Broner, he's been doing some antics, and it's getting to the point where there's so much that has went on with the press conferences. I really don't know. Like, you know what I mean? I try not to read too much into face-offs and stare-downs, but at one point I'm like, man, it looks like Shawn Porter's getting bothered by Broner. But then Broner kept doing stuff, and like he acted like Shawn Porter was like, "Oh, you know what I mean, see you tomorrow." And he was being a sportsman, and he put his hand out, and Broner turned away and like snatched his hand, you know what I mean, like wouldn't shake his hand. And then Mayweather was like, "Oh, that's kind of messed up." You could tell Mayweather's body language. And then he tried to grab Broner, and then Broner like swung his arm away from Floyd. So it's all entertaining in terms of the buildup, but it's hard for me to pick Broner because of things like that. I'm telling you, you'll notice I am very consistent as a person, and I'm picking Broner, but it's very, very hard for me to pick Broner because I like stability. You know what I'm saying? I'm an intense, just in life in general, I'm an intense planner. I like some sort of stability with a person. Like Zab Judah, love him to death, but sometimes he doesn't show that mental fortitude that he can get through anything. James Kirkland, he doesn't show me. Victor Ortiz, they all have talent, but sometimes they don't show me what I need to see in certain fights. You're like, what? Why did Zab do that? Why the fuck did Victor Ortiz say this? Why did Broner do that? You know what I'm saying? But I'm still picking. I know some of you guys are like, why the fuck are you picking Broner then? I'm picking Broner because he has Big Broner's corner. I think that's a good look. It looks like he trained for the fight. It doesn't look like, and I told you guys this would be the case. Shawn Porter just recently fought on PBC, and I told you the catch weight. Some people, I told you with catch weights, I take it by a case-by-case basis, right? And the reason that I shun the Daniel Gill Cotto catchweight is because Cotto is a lineal middleweight champion. This Broner ain't no lineal middleweight shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. Broner's not a champion. This is just a good fight. So a championship level fight, yeah, especially the lineal middleweight champion or lineal champion of a division, I'm going to hold them to a different standard. Broner, you know what I'm saying? He's once defeated. Shawn Porter's once defeated. It's not a championship fight. Even though I'm not saying it's not a championship level fight. I'm saying it's not a fight for a title like Miguel Cotto's fight. Another thing, Miguel Cotto versus Daniel Gill. Daniel Gill has been in tough fights before, like beat up. You know what I'm saying? Like tough fights with Darren Barker, and then he got stopped last year by Triple G. And then he went the distance with Jared Fletcher, and that's the only thing he's done, and then he got the Cotto. So again, not a fan of catchweights, but I take it on a case-by-case basis. And I told you, Shawn Porter, since he just recently fought, since he was okay with the catchweight, I don't think it was his idea or his team's idea. I think he was confident he could make the weight, and at the weigh-in, he looked good. He looked like I don't think whoever wins this fight, if Broner does win like I predict, I don't think the catchweight is the real reason. And I don't know if there's confirmation on this because I've been kind of running around, but I heard there's no rehydration clause or whatever. But either way, Shawn Porter looks like he's focused, he's honed in, and he's in shape, and so does Broner. So that's what I like. Now, the reason I'm picking Broner, and again, it's difficult because Broner is he's such a loose cannon. I'm like, why is he's just talking a lot about this, and like Shawn drives an Uber, and he's just acting real erratic. So I'm telling you, it's hard for me to pick him. The reason I am picking him is because I think he's the better fundamental boxer. Now, for this fight, to me, Broner is going to almost have to show me something that he hasn't showed in previous fights, to be perfectly honest. Like, he's going to have to put it all together in this particular fight because Shawn's a dog. He's going to come at him. He's going to apply pressure. He has good power, and he's very rugged and tough. And you know what I mean? And the reason I'm picking decision for Broner also is because I don't see him really stopping Shawn Porter because Kell Brook didn't stop him, and I think Kell Brook is heavy-handed, and he's a bigger puncher at welterweight than Broner. Broner's power hasn't really impressed me above 140 or at 140, but in the 130s and 135, his power was there because he was bigger than them guys. But as he grew into a higher division or jumped up or whatever, his power almost got nullified. So that's why I'm saying Broner needs to show me something that he hasn't previously really showed me because he has to put it all together. When he lets his hands go, he boxes it. Like, he looks good. He looks very good. His combinations, it's just he doesn't always let his hands go. Sometimes he's economical. He can't do that. I think, honestly, the Maidana fight, I think that was winnable for him, but I think he was so caught up in his image and he can't hurt me. He can't. Just dumb stuff like that. That's the thing that makes it hard to side with Broner and pick him because I don't know if it might have been Paulie Malignaggi fight. Paulie's taking off on him and just punching him in the face, and he's like, "You can't hit me. You can't hit me. You can't. And he's getting punched as he's saying that. And I think he did that kind of with the Maidana fight. Maidana's trying to take his head off, and he's playing around. So hopefully that ass whooping by Maidana taught him something. It showed him, you know what I mean? You're not invincible. You can't take a loss. And overall, I think Broner has more of a fundamental skill set than Shawn Porter. Like Shawn Porter, I wasn't impressed versus Eric Bonet. I thought Eric Bonet was holding his own, and Eric Bonet was from a lower weight division. He had 1 day's notice to prepare. He probably had jet lag because he was in New York when they called him, and they flew him from the East Coast, from New York or wherever, all the way to Ontario, California. So yeah, 1 day, no time to prepare, and he was holding his own versus Shawn Porter. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't know if you guys remember this, but versus Shawn Porter, he like injured his knee or something. He like slipped, and then it messed up his mobility. And I'm not making excuses because Shawn Porter did what he had to do and he capitalized. But Shawn Porter it didn't look like he was close to knocking him out until that injury occurred. He did something, I don't know if he tweaked it or twisted it or whatever. I remember watching him hit the canvas or something, and his leg looked like it was bothered, like kind of like Sergio Martinez, maybe not as extreme. And then from that moment, Shawn Porter pounced on him and got the TKO stoppage. So that's a veteran move from Shawn Porter, a guy who's hitting you, you know what I mean, having some success with you, and for whatever, it's not his job to be like, oh, is your knee okay? You know what I mean? He's gonna pounce on you. So that's what you're supposed to do as a fighter. I've seen a lot of people get bailed out. Like you look at Peter Quillen. Peter Quillen versus Gabe Rosado. Gabe Rosado had a cut and he was getting a second win, and Peter Quillen was just like destroying that cut, and he was able to force the stoppage. So it actually worked for him because it looked like Gabe Rosado was coming on strong. So that's what a fighter's supposed to do. So I'm not taking that away from Shawn Porter, but I wasn't really impressed with how he looked versus Eric Bonet, especially given the situation of the guy had one day to prepare, and he didn't even really have a day to prepare because he was traveling from the East Coast to California to fight Shawn Porter. And then John Molina, I didn't like his game plan, but I think Broner boxed well. You know what I'm saying? So he just has to be careful to not get in a dogfight with Shawn Porter. I think he did the Emmanuel Taylor fight. He kind of did that, and a lot of people are probably basing him to lose based on stuff like that because Emmanuel Taylor had success. But as a boxing fan and expert, I try to consider as many variables as I can, and I think one thing with that particular fight is Emmanuel Taylor is at 140, and he wasn't like a notorious. I mean, he had fought Chris Algieri and Kareem Mayfield. He wasn't like a big notorious name and stuff like that. So Emmanuel Taylor, I don't know. I just feel like Broner, since he was fighting at home, he was a little bit more eager to please, if you will. But now I think knowing he sparred with Shawn Porter in the past, know what Shawn Porter's about. Shawn Porter's a world champion, has been a world champion in the past. I think Broner would hopefully fight a more sensible fight. So again, Broner, he's gonna have to show me something, but I'm picking him. I think if he puts it all together, he can get the job done. He used to go to the body. I would definitely do that, especially if you have a catch weight in there. Even though Shawn Porter looked like he was in good shape, he used to go to the body in the lower divisions. He needs to do that. He needs to box smart. He needs to use a jab. He needs to keep turning. And I think Floyd is really probably trying to show him. And there's only so much you can learn in a training camp, but I like the move. Even though he's doing all this weird, like snatching his hand away and stuff like that, I think he is taking it a lot more serious. Because I know stuff about Broner that I'm not going to really reveal and put him on blast, but I know stuff about Broner and what he's done in other training camps, and I'll leave it at that. But with this particular fight, from what I've seen and what I've heard, everything is on the up and up. And you know what I mean? He got away from home, and I told you that initially that was a good look for him. So I think he is focused, even though he's doing a lot of antics and stuff. I don't know if it's a marketing thing or maybe Floyd got in his ear, like, this is how you make yourself the villain, and Floyd's trying to help him brand himself. I don't really know, but I'm picking Broner via some type of decision. I think he's just overall, I don't know. I just think he overall has more boxing ability, I guess you could say. But the thing that kind of has a little bit of doubt is that when I think of the only person who really had success, like just outboxing, I don't know. I can't say that. But Kell Brook is just bigger than Broner. That's the thing is, I think Shawn Porter had no choice but to respect Kell Brook, because he was like kind of like he ran into a brick wall. So I don't know if he's gonna respect Broner. So that would, if that's the case, then I could be wrong. But like I said, I have to pick somebody, so I'm picking Broner. I think overall, Shawn Porter's a good fighter, but he's kind of wild. He's kind of rugged, and I don't know. I just see like sometimes he gets frustrated. That's why I really feel he gets frustrated. Even the Julio Diaz fight, the first fight, the second fight he redeemed himself, but the first fight was a draw with Julio Diaz versus Keith Thurman. He didn't have to fight him twice. He didn't have to fight him 2 times to set the record straight or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It was a once and done, and Julio ended up quitting on the stool and I think retiring after that fight with Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? So I got to pick Broner on this. Hopefully he's learned from the Maidana loss. He's listening to Big Bro, not just with branding yourself, but listen to, because Floyd's real smart when it comes to boxing and how to exploit certain things. And I just overall see Shawn Porter, his style is just so wild and clumsy. A lot of people keep saying Maidana, but in my honest opinion, and there's no disrespect to the Porters, in my opinion, I think Maidana refined his skills, his brawler style, with Robert Garcia, making him a more complete brawler, like as good as he possibly can be. Maidana is never gonna be Willie Pep or Lomachenko or something, and just like, you know what I mean, real light on his feet and stuff like that. And the other thing is, I think Maidana is unorthodox. He's harder to read. He even caught Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Versus if Shawn Porter were to fight Mayweather, I really don't see Porter catching Mayweather with some of the shots that Maidana did. But Maidana, and it's not even just Maidana. I'm not even trying to stereotype, but a lot of fighters from Argentina, they're very unorthodox. Like the punches, Luis Carlos Abregu, Diego Chavez, Maidana, Matisse. They all, I don't know if it's something they train in the Argentina schools or whatever, but they're very unorthodox. Very unorthodox. Like the way the punches land, and it's easier to bite. Like I think Broner thought Maidana was coming to the bottom, and then he came up top, and that's what created that first knockdown that set the whole tone for the fight. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Shawn Porter is that refined like Maidana. Like that jab, just learning the jab with Robert Garcia has made Maidana just that much better. He showed you, I think maybe his best example of it would be the Jesus Soto Kras fight. He looked real good with the jab, and then he used it also in the Broner fight and maybe the Mayweather first fight. But I think that's helped his style tremendously, because it gives him more. He's like, that's why I started calling him Maidana 2.0, because to me he was a souped up, improved version. Again, he's not, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't a Ruslan, you know what I'm saying? Just like super one dimensional. That adding that to his arsenal helped him, and I don't know if Shawn Porter has that, but we're gonna find out shortly. Drop me a comment, let me know how you think I did on my prediction. What do you think? Do you agree with me, disagree? Is Shawn Porter gonna steamroll Broner? Am I right? We will find out shortly. And I will be at the Ward Smith fight, so I won't be able to do an immediate post-fight reaction results video. So bear with me, and I'll get that out as soon as I see the fight. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.